Enoch? Have you ever heard of the Nest? I hear they throw a festival every single day there. I want to dance, Enoch. I want to stomp my feet and let happiness take over my body. Lisa, if you take a bit of time to look around here, it's quite nice too. But we aren't allowed to go anywhere. Carmen just wants to keep us confined here. She's a good person. I hope you'll open up to her soon. I don't want to get to know anyone else. All I want is to be with you. I can't promise to be next to you forever. There's a lot of things that I've been mulling over for quite some time, and I thought I might find some answers for them here. Some of my thoughts may be so absurd that the answers to them might not exist at all. Or, even if the answers do exist, they might vanish too soon. But, in the process of searching for those answers, I will be able to cast off my shell. Then I can fly away at last, leaving my heavy body behind. Sometimes I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know where you want to go, but promise that you'll take me with you, Enoch. Oh, A is here, so I guess we gotta go now. It's gonna get dark and cold soon. Let's head inside. Yeah, soon. Soon cold days will come. Even though I never had thought of them as family or someone that I needed to care for. I made it my job to bring the children back home, to ease Carmen's busy schedule. I see them. Those young kids running towards me. Those children who survived the outskirts. The two we saved. Oh yeah, in case you're wondering, since all of the Sephiroth are based off of dead people, Lisa did die. She was killed during the same incident where, what's it, where the name? Callie and Daniel died. That whole thing you saw in the flashbacks too in the Gebra and Chesed meltdown day. Project Moon confirmed that in an interview. They just didn't want to show her or mention her death because she's a child. I thought I could do it all on my own. I wanted to show Tiphereth how mature I became when he got back on one day. But there was no end to the disappointment, and Tiphereth never got any better. I couldn't stand the silence without an answer. So I thought that I'd rather hide my disgust and guilt I was so used to, as if the feelings never existed in the first place. But whenever I see Tiphereth's empty smile, my heart feels as if it were being covered in dark ash, while shattered into millions of pieces. I know Tiphereth could never go back to how he used to be. I was aware that we could never return to the happy days we spent together. But I was about to abandon Tiphereth just because it was too hard for me to endure. All while knowing that he was the one who suffered the most. Tiphereth, are you done with all of your busy work? We're going to be late. Let's get going. The sun will set soon. Please hurry, Lisa. Right, my name was Lisa once. Tiphereth doesn't remember his name anymore. From time to time he calls me by my cast-off name. What did Tiphereth want out of all of this, even after sacrificing himself? What was he waiting for, even when he was being discarded? Was it all worth it to him? I don't know. I've never, ever held any expectations in my life. But I'll try counting on you now. I want to believe that there's a reason for every sacrifice that was made, and to know that eventually, everything will be okay. Now we've earned the expectation for the meaning of existence, and we're halfway germinated with our seed of light, or if you want to phrase that. I had wanted to free myself from the pain, but I realized it was impossible. It was only recently that I found my answer. It is that I have to accept the pain as something I have borne from the beginning. Then I can be set free. Manager, if you are suffering too, just take in the pain and accept it. You don't have to keep changing things if it's too hard for you. I know you want to keep pressing on in any way possible. You felt lost and scared of the present, so all you could do was blindly trace along the way through the dark. I admired such determination at first, but now you look so pathetic. How long do you think you can keep this up? Will you ever make it to the end? Shortly after I was born, I questioned myself daily about the significance and the meaning of my creation. Then you handed me the script and gave me the answer. They say the narrator plays an important role in unraveling the plot. Well, thank you. It was so much fun reciting your script. So much so that I was able to find my raison d'etre, or how you pronounce that, I'm also not French, without noticing the time fly by. Sometimes I have these thoughts. What if this script is part of a play that's missing its finale? Maybe you prepared a play that could never end, just so that you could tie me into this knot. If so, would it be appropriate for me to disobey your orders and obtain my own free will for the first time? Do you think this dialogue was part of the script, or was it born of my own free will? Looking at the headstones in this place, are you? It is only natural to find them a spectacle to see. There used to be times where I spent the whole day reading all the meaningless letters written there. These are also coffins. They're death itself, and they represent the possibilities birth can bring at the same time. I've been guarding their coffins for countless years, carrying out consecrations for those who do not even have the privilege to depart for an afterlife. That is one of the few things I do here. You see, if one spends a long enough time in this graveyard, they can hear the whispers of the dead. The sound of their words is black as pitch. It makes me feel as if I were being filled with nebulous, murky water. You must be starting to get bored, seeing that your eyes are drifting about this place. It isn't often that I have guests here, and I'd feel bad to only show you these gravestones. Did you call me, Lady Binah? This employee once had his boundary collapsed. What's your name? It's Nathan. This man had the task of extracting ego. During extraction, he carelessly peeked into the well, but by luck he survived. To minimize the price he had to pay for looking into the well, he was given the maximum dose of enkephalin, and so he could barely return to work. However, once one looks through the crack of the boundary, they can never return to the world that they belonged to before. Want to see something interesting? Nathan, can you describe what you saw to the manager? The scenery you witnessed with your own eyes, but had to forget all at all costs? From within the tombstones, inside them are those who sleep are sunken deep, those who are dreaming good dreams. At the same time, we call them the well in the speech of this place. We have to dredge them up and inject them with cogito. Now remember, afterwards, what did you see? The man, he, that thing. Continue. The man, he, him, he, in the well. He passed out, poor thing. What'll happen to him after? Do not worry for him. He wouldn't last a single day with a mind as feeble as his is now. It is much more favorable to sit still and simply watch the grains fall as the sandcastle crumbles, rather than try to reclaim the collapsing castle. I have seen what that poor sap saw hundreds, no, thousands of times, maybe more. How are you still fine? So you ask why I can retain enough sanity to have a friendly little chat with you until now? Or conversation with you until now? I kinda just made up a word in there. It is thanks to my mechanical body that I can just barely grasp onto my mind. Yes, this strong, unbending back of mine. However, did you forget that I originated from a human mind as well? If there is at least one thing that could be considered fortunate, it is that if I ever were to finally lose my sanity and I ran amok through the facility, attempting to bring this entire place down along with you, she will be there to shut me off once more. But if that day truly were to come, I would prefer that you terminated me with your own hands, rather than her. It's the least you can do for a person as confined as I. So now I have to complete the day with one employee who has 4 or more ego gifts. I'm pretty sure we have multiple employees who fit this. All I have to do is not have them die. Alternating back to records. So thanks to completing Tiphereth suppression, we have more bullets, and we unlocked pale shield bullets. In case you're wondering where the empty bullet slot was from, it was just completing this suppression. Also, the 8 abnormalities in Tiphereth's area will no longer melt down, which is nice. And finally, we can take our first Hakama upgrade. All of Hakama's upgrades raise the stat cap, and Fortitude and Prudence, increasing that by 20 is not super useful. It's nice, but it's not really amazing. Temperance is much better, because it makes working with abnormalities like Censored, the Alephs, much less risky. Alright, it's time to do Gebra's suppression. The bench is pretty large, just for the reason of I need people who can't really fight to be on the bench, and therefore a lot of people are on the bench. But other than that, it's just normal suppression, aside from the fact that there's very obviously going to be a fight, because I literally just said I bench people who can't fight. So let's get started. Skin Prophecy is a single-use Teth tool that, when used, decreases an employee's white resistance in return for giving them more sanity. It is basically useless outside of using it to make a censored work buddy, as having 200 max sanity, which is the top it can go to by using it, makes them only go down to around 80 sanity after getting hit by censored's sanity attack, as opposed to going down to 40 normally, making it much easier to survive working with censored. Outside of working with censored, it's basically useless, like most tools. Additionally, Skin Prophecy, if the employee affected by it runs out of SP, they will die instead of panic. This will only pop up if you let it, so don't let it. So you might have noticed the bench grew a bit. This took me a lot of tries. The most any day has taken so far, and that it took me 8 failures before my 9th successful attempt. A lot of that was figuring out that I had a lot more people to bench than I originally thought I had to. And that is because the HE tier armor does not stand up to the destructive force of the Red Mist. So, and Gebra's suppression is pretty simple, concept-wise. Gebra's missions are testing your skill at suppressing abnormalities and entities. So her suppression is just another tougher entity you have to suppress. Once you're able to defeat the Red Mist, the suppression immediately ends. There's literally no point to working on abnormalities unless they have some sort of special buff they can give you for working on them. The Red Mist who uses Ego, as has been described. Gebra uses Ego to help with suppression, like employees do. Right now she's using a combination of Red Eyes, which is from Spider Bud, and Penitence, which is from Once in Hundreds of Good Deeds. This means that she'll be able to deal red and white damage to people she attacks. Additionally, when she loses 1,000 health, she opens those portals in the Eco we haven't seen yet, and opens them until through a bunch of hallways until she hits a main room. Well, not until, but eventually a single portal will open up one of the main rooms, and she'll stop there. But she'll run through those doing a bunch of red damage and anything that's caught in the crossfire. So it's important to watch where they open to make sure none of your employees get caught. And she's moved to Information. This is by far the easiest phase of the fight because she doesn't do as much damage as she does later on. It's only like half of what she does in her later phases. And she's still knocking off like 1/4 of people's health bars with each swing, so she's pretty strong. It's a bit of an issue. The fight. The reason I'm having Marie knock her from face to face just to make sure no one gets caught in the Road of Gold, by the way, which is what the portals are named. And also to practice for the later phases, we're using Marie to switch faces becomes significantly more necessary. Because Marie has by far the best damage and resistances of everyone in the facility because of how good Twilight is. We've hit first Trumpet because Big Bird and Clouded Monk broke out at the same time. This is going to happen during the day because we can't kill the clerks fast enough to avoid it. Luckily we don't have anything truly nasty that would break out from a Clerk's Right abnormality. If we had a third Clerk's Right abnormality, this would immediately break out little red too, and luckily that can't happen. I've said luckily twice. I guess we could have also execution bulleted some of the clerks, but they just die too fast. Gebra moves through too many rooms. So I just let the clerks die. Gebra's in welfare right now, but so is Big Bird, which is kind of an issue. But we're retreating a lot anyway, just to heal, so Big Bird ringing the bell shouldn't be able to kill our employees. And we've hit phase 2. Her weapons are when she reaches the end of the portal, she'll immediately throw a spear from another abnormality we haven't seen yet, and then switch her weapons to a new set. The spear does black damage, even though the weapon that it's based off of does red damage, I believe. It might do black. No, I'm pretty sure it does red. I'm very unsure of myself. Anyway, her weapons have switched into to a left tier red and white damage weapons. She was using a Teth and a Zayn before. Now she does like 70 to 90 of her damage type with each swing, instead of 25 to 30. So I had the people wearing white weak suits all retreat to this elevator, where they'll be safe from her. Gebra only attacks in the main rooms, but her portals from the Road of Gold can, which is not the name of the weapon she's using, it's just the name of the portals. The Road of Gold can pass through hallways, so the elevators are safe. And also, 2 of the rooms in Central are safe, and the tops of Welfare and Disciplinary are safe. Those are the safe rooms from her, if I am correct. However, the spear she throws can go through any of those locations, so there's no actual safe zones. They're just more safe. So this elevator is not actually safe from her, because if she decides to throw her spear at like a clerk, she won't throw it if there's no one in the room with her, I believe. It would still pass through and hit them. This room is also not technically safe, even though she's not in there for similar reasons. This is basically the same as Phase 1, except her attacks come out a bit faster, especially the white damage one, and she does way more damage. So unfortunately this is just Phase 1, but significantly slower for our purposes. There's one other difference from Phase 1, but we haven't seen it yet, just because it's she's replaced Road of Gold for this phase exclusively. She still uses it in her other phases. It's just for some reason she uses something else in this phase. And I'm afraid of triggering it, so I have my team retreat. Actually, no, I was just dodging an attack. I am very afraid of triggering it, though. Which is why I was talking about having Marie knock her down intervals. Because it's very important to make sure that whoever is doing it is one of your stronger agents, just so they can, or an agent with a ranged weapon. That is an additional tactic, but we don't have any good ranged weapons. It's a minor issue. Literally our only weapons with very long range are Laetitia's guns, which are HE tier and very much outclassed by this point. They were good when we got her, but not really anymore. I accidentally ordered Joy to fight the Red Mist instead of Marie, so that was a bit of a bro moment, but nothing really happened with it. Instead of opening portals, she now chucks her white damage weapon and then dashes to it with her red damage weapon. This does one really big hit of white damage and one really big hit of red damage to anything that both of them hit the same path. Anything caught in the path takes the damage. We just got lucky that none of our employees were in that path. Big Bird is up in Upper Central, and Clouded Monk is still in Disciplinary. It tends to hang around there whenever he gets out. Clouded Monk is less of a threat than Big Bird, even though Big Bird really shouldn't even do any damage to our employees, just because I'm an idiot and Big Bird will get kills. One of the failed attempts was because somebody got eaten by Big Bird. I'm not showing the failed attempts again, much like Apocalypse Surge, because I don't really think they're interesting enough. It's really just people got out-damaged by Gebra. I didn't retreat them fast enough, etc. Big Bird is, the best spots to engage Big Bird are spots where you're close to another department, just because you have to constantly be retreating after it sounds its bell, or whatever that is, just to make sure no one dies. Because if whoever is infected, ensorcelled, enchanted by it, is sitting next to it, when it's done shaking its bell, it'll instantly kill them. And almost all of our agents are melee. Everyone in this fight is melee. Our only ranged weapons are sitting on the bench right now. They were the last set I benched because I originally had a plan for them, but they just didn't do enough damage for the plan to work. And we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. It's not for this phase, they're a missed fight. There are more phases than 2. And they get progressively worse. And by worse I mean harder. Clouded Monk's not really an issue, it's just suppressing them both because there aren't enough clerks left in the building by this point to make them come out again. And we want to make sure that nothing can happen with them. Mostly Big Bird. No one we're fielding was weak enough to die to Clouded Monk. Unless its charge happens, but I mean, as long as we're paying attention, it shouldn't be able to happen. Anyway, we've entered fast forward mode just because we've described Phase 2, we've seen it, and Phase 3 takes a while for reasons that will soon become apparent, and the rest of Phase 2 takes a while because it is, there's a lot of waiting for healing now. I could spend bullets, I could have everyone group in an elevator and bullet them, but again, I want to save the bullets for later, because we need bullets to finish this fight successfully, unfortunately. That doesn't mean I don't use healing bullets, it just means that I want to wait to use them. And you could use shield bullets also. I am just reluctant to use shield bullets because I am an idiot, so whatever. I just tend to use healing instead of shield because I don't know. It's just the way I play. She's in training now. I almost call it safety, even though they're completely different colors. It's very important that when we're hitting her out of this phase, we don't have anyone sitting on a straight line across from her in either direction. Because she throws both of her weapons, they do a ton of damage. Notably, Marie actually got hit and lost most of her SP. She's just barely sane after that. And she's just taking 0.3 damage from that attack. Anyone else who got hit would have either died or gone insane, depending on which one was headed their direction. In this case, the one that did red damage hit absolutely nothing, and the one that did hit white damage is going the way of all my employees. Anyway, phase 3, she pulls out Justicia and a black damage Aleph weapon we haven't seen yet. And these both do a lot of black and pale damage respectively. And the reason why only Maria is fighting is because she's taking 0.3 damage, 0.2 damage from black and pale right now, which unfortunately means she does enough damage to the point where our wall employees aren't worth fighting her with, and our left employees can't damage her because she resists their damage type, except for Marie, who does all the damage types. So Marie has to solo her now. Luckily, soloing her isn't awful, it just takes a long time. Well, if you're playing it safe, it takes a long time. She's gone back to using Road of Gold in between phases. All of the other employees are grouped up in upper welfare just to make sure that they won't get hit by stray portals. And also for phase 4, because this is not the last phase of the fight, there's one more. Phase 4 is the last one though. Much like phase 2, she does have an attack she pulls out when she loses her health bar, but this one's a lot easier to dodge than phase 2. It's not really as big of a concern. The real concern here is the pale damage, and she still has the black damage spear from phase 2 as well, if you didn't catch it. This is the last portal she's opening in this phase. She generally only gets 2 in. I believe she has exactly 3,000 HP, so it would be impossible for her to get 3 in. It's 3,000 for each phase, so 1,000, 12,000 in total. But yeah, she went down to welfare, so not too far from where she was. This is actually kind of an issue because we want her to be kind of far away from the rest of our employees. But we can just move the big stack because she's not gonna Road of Gold again. They can go anywhere. So we moved them. The first 3 phases are all the same thing with different damage types. This is the most different any of her phases get. It's phase 4. She only has 2 attacks now, and she chooses one of them at random. Right now she's doing her first attack, where she'll mark an employee like Little Red Riding Hood does, and then charge towards them, moving incredibly fast. This is what one of the bullets for, to slow her down, so it's manageable to avoid her in this. After a bit, she stops at information, and we called the rabbits there. She's weak to all damage types right now, so the rabbits are exceptional for whittling down her health. Even though the rabbits are supposed to seal off the department, however, she can still escape their grasp. So we're not out of the woods yet. And this is her other attack. It's Road of Gold again. But this time she does even more damage to everyone in the room when she's done lands. Note, she's still weak to all damage types, so Twilight's even stronger than normal, but she Roads of Gold again. If she chose to target Marie with her other attack, we probably would have lost then and there. She does a crap ton of damage if she catches the marked employee. But she stops in the training again, and we're done. Since there were no works, no one got an EXP today. We did successfully clear the day, and that's what's really important, though. Because, geez, that was hard. And my first playthrough, I just cheesed it, so I was not prepared for doing this. Adequately prepared. Alright, so FO249 is my infinite hatred, I give you this gift. This is an HE. O164, sadness has begun, pass away, but greed seeks deep eternity. This is one of the magical girls, and it's a wall. And O2101, this is another wall. It's kind of annoying to manage. If I don't roll a 2, I will re-extract, because I would be fine getting that magical girl and having her for the simple reason of I want good abnormalities in my facility now. I rolled a 3, I will re-extract. So 173, all that remains is the Hollow Pride of a Weathered Knight. This is another magical girl that would have made the last day a lot easier. 272, don't look at it, just keep your eyes on it, contain it in your sight. This is a WA, and FO137, this is an HE, so as long as I don't roll a 3, I'll be fine. Not great abnormalities, I rolled a 2. And now it is time for Reddit lore. A white cleaning robot with distinct red eyes that look like a pair of buttons. It always keeps its surroundings neat and tidy. It was originally a mass-produced helper robot intended for domestic use. The writing on its back says, an innovative invention that can clean, cook, and even serve as light security using various tools attached to its limbs. Built to perform efficiently and quickly. Manufactured by XX Incorporated. It recognizes a bad mood as a sign that the surroundings are dirty, and promptly enters cleaning mode. It will alert its status by stating lines such as, contamination detected, commencing cleaning. However, the limbs are equipped with sharp instruments instead of cleaning supplies. Rumor has it that they were supposed to be used for cutting meat, but they were made to respond to the clean command by accident. There is no way to confirm whether this is true. It is determined that the screaming humans make after it cleans is a sign of a job well done, and a prompt to continue its cleaning. An audio record found within the robot. Oh, it's a new helper robot. Let me see, let me see. You want to touch it? Blank, then try turning it on and playing with it. I'll be back right after I get the phone, okay? Hello, I am your friendly helper robot. How may I serve you? Cleaning! I want to help mommy cleaning! Environmental contamination 70%. Filth level mild. Commencing cleaning mode. Wow, it's cleaning! It's clean! After a few seconds of shrieking, the power abruptly went out. What a beautiful story. I'll destroy a shoddy place like this with my own hands. What's left for me, the one who failed to protect them? Do you really think feeble cowards like you can stop me? Let me show you how to actually wield ego. I'm back. The red mist has walked out from a sea of pain. I'm no longer weak like I used to be. I can replace any body part even if it gets cut off, and I can be repaired even if I'm broken. Some things simply couldn't be forgotten, no matter how much time has passed. Hatred is a poison that eviscerates me, yet it makes me open my eyes once more. Some things just wouldn't cool down, no matter how long they were left in the cold. These monsters always kill people. There is no end to this sin. I have descended to bring about their reckoning. The right path is too far away, and I have too far to go. My heart is pulsing with anger, and I must keep pushing. Ah, I'm breaking. I won't drop my sword, even if I turn to dust. Even after all this, I couldn't do a single thing with this power.